I thought I was gonna stream earlier, but I was like, things to do. I mean, next week there's a bunch of holiday stuff. I dealt with legal issues at work yesterday. Thankfully, for the most part, it was taken care of, and I didn't have to have any direct confrontation with everyone else involved. Still trying to upload a video and still at freaking 46% of exporting it, so that's going to be a bit. But anyways, I'm just popping in here because again, it's a funky week. But hey, I got to do some errands. I got to play with the doggies. Remember to actually update a lot of my bill payments so they come through on time. Which is really funny having account reminders and being like, you owe $0. Like, yay! One less thing to be struggling with. I still, in the background, I'm still trying to finish the final boss of YS Ova Felgana, and I am failing. I am failing so badly at that game. Like, the whole concept of dodging and avoiding these major attacks are really screwing me over for defeating the main boss. But then I'm going to feel so satisfied when I finally defeat this Galblon character in the other game I'm playing. So, who knows? I'm gonna just continue to try and record it and see how I'm doing. I finally got to the second part of his battle. Now it's just trying to figure out how to avoid all the freaking lasers the character is able to do. But we're gonna play Lake of Voices today because scary but less battle base. Something to see if we can proceed on through one route. Now, as we played a while ago, we had a lot of people end up dying on us. This route, I'm going to stick with the most, I believe, the most canonical or basic route, where we're going to take our character and we're going to take Bemele, still struggling with that name, so thankfully there's audio so I can get this name fixed in a few seconds. But obviously I'm gonna probably skip through the main dialogue since it's a dark and spooky night, and our two fellow characters are in a rush to go save a village. Obviously, the fastest route is across a very eerie bridge across a lake, which has apparently otherworldly spirits and demons and things that can come and kill us at any time. We have a guide who seems not human who will guide us, and that we have two other people who can be invited into the group, though their chances of survival are significantly less than the two main characters that we are introduced at first. Now,
have you seen it before?
Bemele is what I'm going to believe, the canonical basic route you can pursue, since he is literally the first face you see on the game. But if I have time, I'm going to try and pursue... Was the other character Margaret? I just nicknamed her Bumblebee for some reason.
I haven't. I've had no reason to go near this cursed lake until now. What of you?
And this is our character who we were playing as, Kikia, the Steadfast. So far that we're aware of, in information-wise, these two are semi-mercenaries or even knights. Maybe they're just hired hands who have expertise in battle, so they get to have these fancy titles. Something like that. So now we're gonna skip through this dialogue and get to where they're like, hey, here's the guide. now we have the next character, which for some reason, I don't know why exactly I named her Bumblebee the last time I played, so bear with me as I try to remember that.
Margaret.
What's her name? Margaret. Maybe because the blondish hair. That's probably why I named her Bumblebee. No. Ooh, I remember. Because she could be very cute and adorable, but she could sting with her words. That's why I named her Bumblebee.
Kika the Steadfast.
Like, how fucking awesome is that? Having a name that you get to add on a title to it. Come on.
Bamile. Hello?
Bamile. Okay. Let's hopefully my brain can actually attach it this time. Because we kept trying to say this name more than 15 times and I kept botching it. Bamile. 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 Okay, we're gonna go with that. Now, we're gonna skip ahead to meeting the guide. So here's actually where our choices begin. So I'm gonna put my save here on the second page. And since we are pursuing the basic canonical route, I don't know if it would be the guide being canonical since the guide's the one with the most information about the Lade, but I'm assuming based on the logic of the first character you meet is the character that the story wants to shove upon you. As much as I want to pursue Margaret first, it seems like Margaret has way too many chances of dying, so maybe go with the person who can defend themselves first. Now, I'm sure you are forgiven, Belle-May.
I know you. You are brash but not intentionally cruel. I'm sure all is well.
And if you could recognize, there was a little tinkling of ringing bells in the background, so that's some kind of indication we gave kind of an affection point to him in a way. So you may hear that again. Bellamy smiles and claps me on the back. He's like, Kikia, steadfast, always got my back.
You're a good woman, Kika. Smart, too. You've never been here, yet you knew more of the guy than I did.
And we get a little smile for that.
I know about Garvin, truthfully. Tales of his deeds were some of the only stories my parents ever told.
Interesting. I mean, already in that line alone, that your parents only told you stories about warriors, people who have accomplished great deeds, which could be a lot of pressure for a child to have these stories of high, successful, brave people always being told again and again.
Is that so? You could tell me more about it sometime.
Then again, he could just be inquiring friendly, but then the tone, that inflection that he put on his voice sounded a bit flirty. See? Even we're like, I pause, unsure how to respond to this type of request.
I would like that very much.
Oh, damn, he's gonna blush too? Shit, we just had his back and he's already like, man, Kikia is the best.
Yes, I wouldn't mind that. It must wait until after this trip, though.
Fair. Be like, hey, I see there's some chemistry here, but hold off on it till we survive the night.
Of course. We should drop this topic sooner rather than later in any case.
Before it gets steamy.
I agree.
It's just so fun because Kikia is so, literally, to her name, steadfast, just calm, collected looking. Even if there's no harm meant, hearing someone mention Garvin is probably difficult for the guide, no matter what the circumstance. With the topic dropped, we each remain locked inside our own thoughts, not another word passing between us. And I will skip and we will meet the guide. Hello, Mr. Guide, who seems devoid of life, existence, any kind of joy. Maybe give him a Tamagotchi. Oh no, oh no. Oh God. There was way too many skippings. I would have botched something. But hey. Again, Bellamy smiles eagerly back at me. And I smiled at him for a change.
We're lucky to have each other in this, I think.
Why the tension already? Like, clearly we have a bond already. He turns to follow the others across. I will protect everyone on this trip. I will. We will make it through this. I don't know. I really don't know if we're going to all survive. Then I step onto the dock and join them. As soon as I step onto the wood, the temperature drops. The light of my lamp shines against the water's surface as reflective as a mirror, until we reach again the land. Death is only one small mistake away. I've definitely been feeling better since the late night stream, Tudu. I appreciate that. I mean, from just last week being a whole lot of stuff bombarding, and then this week starting off with having to deal with potentially and now confirm firing another coworker for stealing from me. It was a big deal because it's a coworker that I've known for a while, so it messed with me. Still, I'm just happy my boss was able to work with me on that and we could move on from that. I was able to make really good home cooking. I got myself some fancy salmon today. I can cook with some broccoli. So that'll be enjoyable for me to have. And smarter because, good gosh, I ended up eating dinner after 12. Because I was just so freaking distracted and just doing little things, bipping and bopping and weaving, doing activities and cleaning. Because what was it? I ended up cleaning my shower this morning, even though I meant to just take a quick shower and leave. But I was like, let me do this too. But it's probably my brain trying to distract me from doing other priorities as well. But yeah, it does suck because I saw him as a friend as well, but they made the choice. They made a deliberate choice to rummage through my things and then try to act surprised when they got caught. Like, they knew they were going to be on the cameras. The cameras are never off. So that's really embarrassing. But who knows? I might talk about this event at my meeting that I have during the end of the week, or it might be just entirely dismissed. Because then we had another coworker just up and leave the country. Just went somewhere else because they're like, I miss my girlfriend. And they went to freaking Canada this past day, actually. But then again, I get it. They've had a lot of stuff going on. But they quite literally had, 6 more shifts to do for the end of the week? And they didn't give anyone heads up. I'm like, bruh, you just left the country. But hey, everyone else gets to split their tips, one less person, so is it really gonna bother us too much? Not really. I mean, I think more so the whole thing of not being good last week is because I wanted to start up doing more of my streams, like actually clearing out some of my complete and current game files. Like, I could have finished Lake of Voice a while ago, but I was just like, let me do this instead. What was that? What the heck just made a noise? Okay, I'm just hearing things then. Never mind. But what was it? Yes, obviously they've entered onto the bridge again. we are trying to just stick with the pursuable route of the melee. So obviously I need to try and keep him alive. I know I can keep Margaret alive, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep the other character with the red hair. I cannot remember his name. At some point I'll get affiliated. You never know. It takes in good due time. No, that's not how I say it. In due time, it will happen when it happens. But hey, it is really cool. They do have the option for the Prime sub. I love being able to just throw that in there every so month to people. I'm like, here you go, here you go. But I appreciate that future support. Thank you. Trying to figure out words, because I did have a little drinky drink before. Take my free money now. Take it. Which I actually might want to grab another one of these. It was very good. I can buy a cheeseburger or something. Oh, delicious. Little snacks and things. Which, when was the last time I had a cheeseburger? Ooh, that's the last time I had a cheeseburger from some place called Umami, right? It was that restaurant called Umami because they had some good sweet potato fries, and I was like, hey, it's not too expensive to go by there and get it. It was delicious. I think that's the only thing that was significant from there. There's nothing else that's delicious. They have just the regular menu. It's like, meh. Oh, probably why I like it so much because they don't serve onions with it. Like, ugh, I detest onions with a great hatred of all other vegetables and anything else. Everything else I will eat. Eggplants. I mean, even I would eat okra if I had to stay away from onions. And I hate okra anyways. You've had it? It was decent. See, it's kind of like the, if it's there, it's there. But it's not going to have the wow factor. I, for one, did not know they even carried grilled onions. Like, really? In-N-Out has grilled onions? Huh. Well, I mean, the only close In-N-Out that's near me is... the only one that's close to me is in a really cruddy location because if you drive in there at the wrong time, you're gonna be stuck there a while because bad traffic on either side. Yeah, pretty much the only other one I have to drive down to where my mother lives, and that's a good hour drive just for some onions. Who knows? There will be a time when I might try that, because I mean, this wild sauce that they have, it can be good at times. And you're not a fan, but you like those. Keep that in mind. Let's see. I don't need to read through this again because pretty much it's going to be the whole creepiness. So we're going to do another skip through. The spookiness is upon us. But obviously we can skip ahead. Right, we have this...
No idea things like that were out here. Is that what Kika saw down the other path?
Yep, now we have to deal with prowlers who come out and try to eat our faces off. God, it's so creepy. I love it that they use the background for just these creepy little images that pop up. Now, I don't know if we're gonna have to deal with more prowlers in the next night, but still absolutely disturbing for the first half of this game. That voodoo. Wait for 3 or 4 of my Prime subs, then visit the mother for the onions. We'll give it a good waiting period of just talking about the onions. Hype it up enough that when I try it, it'll actually taste good. But I mean, who knows? I don't even know if In-N-Out is going to be open next week. I mean, like most places are gonna have that random 1 or 2 days where they suddenly close or they have odd hours. Maybe on stream I could eat it and be like, look, the first time I eat an onion in God knows how long. Because even I remember picking out onions from a stir fry because it was soiling the taste of everything else I was eating. And especially because they were crunchy, just like, disgusting. Or you'd hype it too much. You never know. Depending on how you use your words, you can technically manipulate people into be like, this is actually really good for you. And be like, I mean, it's almost doing hypnosis just without the little tricks and things. I think I can skip more forward because we have nothing else happening. If anything, I should just make a save currently to make sure I don't kill anybody. So, forward! Oh, another little ringy-jing moment. Don't skip, dude. Okay? Oh, look at that. Oh my gosh, he's all surprised by this. I feel Bellarmé start as I reciprocate his touch, but just as quickly as a smile replaces his shock, because he's like, oh my gosh, Kiki is actually touching me and not repulsed. The moment is pleasant, a small balm against a large burn. I harden my expression and Bellarmé follows suit. He moves his free arm down. I fully link my arm with his, and now properly settled, look forward. Margaret is following the guide with some reluctance, turning back every so often to check on us. I wave my lantern to signal we're catching up. That for In-N-Out, that they're open late at night during weekends. Yeah, that's the big old question, because again, that is something I've noticed. This area that I live in, there's been a significant shortage of employees too. So there's been quite a few restaurants that are been just randomly closed during the week, which really sucks both for the company and then the employees who can work. What is it? It makes sense if they're open late during the weekend, since that's when more people will be out trying out food and wanting some crunchy onions on the side. Let's see, I can skip again. Wait. Oh. I was like, excuse me, why are we suddenly saying in spite of herself? Oh, so actually the text starts to change because since I've put some more affection into pursuing Bellarmé. The 4 of us continue cautiously over the bridges. Only this time the wet, squishing footsteps of the prowler join the sound of our own. In spite of myself, I grip Bellarmé tighter. The prowler walks without a set pace, or pattern. Wow, why did I say pace? Okay, we can skip ahead. Okay, we good? And then I see it. Pull! Pull! I shift around, pulling Bellarmé behind me. Prowler lunges after him, nearly missing Bellarmé, but striking my lantern instead. Fire goes out and the 2 of us are plunged into an unearthly darkness. Then there's a slick splash. I realize the Nyx has retreated into the water. Somehow, the Melly and I are still standing. Still here.
Kika, thank you.
I can't respond. Something cold, wet, and slimy has grabbed my ankle. And the Nyx hold slips, and I can't pull with the momentum I've gained against it. Margaret rushes to my side, and her lantern hangs out towards the Nyx. The light brushes its face, and we see it for an instant. It's wide, and then it slides back into the smooth surface of the water. Right, and this is when I last time was mentioning that Margaret had the new nickname of Bumblebee.
I only looked away for 1 second.
1 second is enough time to get you killed. Well, they have chopped chilies for the animal style. Oh, it's animal style, not wild style. Wow. My bad. I was totally saying the wrong thing. Ooh. The In-N-Out onions aren't crunchy, but they're caramelized. Okay. I do know the times I've had caramelized versions of onions have been particularly more tasty. Get whole grilled onions if you want crunchy now. But to get animal style with chopped chilies, I mean, it depends on how the spicy flavor tastes. Sometimes it's overpowering the flavor of everything else. Sometimes it complements it. Anything, taste it, see how it goes, and just work from there. And what is that on my desk? Get off. Okay. Thank you for that note as well.
It's fine, Bemele. We're all fine.
We survived. And now we can skip again. The current works. Turn! Wait! Crap, that was wrong. Oh no, I have to go back. Crap. I can't turn because then that gets Margaret killed.
Here, I'll lead you like this, and you can keep your focus solely on the Prowler. Make sure it doesn't get too close.
Can't promise that. And he's just like, oh my gosh, you touched my hand. Oh, pull him. And kick it off. The current format works because we're not trying to pursue Margaret.
So you're staying behind?
Yeah. Don't turn, because that will get Margaret killed. I keep straight ahead, not making an attempt to go the correct direction. Bemele seems to fumble slightly, but stays close behind me in the light. I inwardly apologize. Bruh. Why are you binking the table, man? I know you want love. Love. You just want some love. Oh, you just want some love. Little baby. Hi, how are you? That little nose, pet the little nose. Oh, pet the little nose. Ah. Yes, I don't know if you can see, but Fluffy baby Bradley is awake. Fluffy baby Bradley is awake. Fluffy baby Bradley, Fluffy baby Bradley. Would you care for snacks? Yes, that was a yes. Da. Oh, you're so cute. You can take the treat. Yes, we do hide her treats behind the couch because A, she's actually really good about not stealing her treats from her bag. It's just all her brothers out there like to steal treats and rip up bags and try to eat them. So that's the only way I can keep the treats in here without like putting them out front. Ooh, the little baby. She's enjoying her treats. Anyways, hi Margaret. I come upon Margaret, who nearly runs into me in her effort to turn around. Face twists at the sight.
Why are you...
'Cause you missed the turn, lady. I'm trying to save your life. Oh, you can ask for the chilies on the side. A little spice. Banana peppers. Ooh, I love banana peppers. I love banana peppers. Okay. I'm happy about that. See, look at this. As much as you brought it up at first, I was detesting it. But now, you're giving little tidbits, are making it more delectable, more exciting to try. See? The way of words can pursue anyone to try something that they're a little apprehensive about. Oh, my fingers. Hold on. Stop being itchy. I hate you, eczema. Stop. Freaking, how many times I talk to my hands because they start to just itch greatly. Please. How much is this? It's at 72% of exporting this video. Oh my god. Like, I don't even know. How long was this video? It was probably like a 2-hour thing. Hey, it's progressing. Hey, it went up to 73. Yes. Anyways, Margaret, let's not get you killed this time, okay? We're gonna jump. Encourage. Point towards the guide. Encourage her. Should I be giving her affection points because that was a ringy-ding? We're gonna just go with it. I'm not gonna reload again.
Here.
Look at them. They're both... Without context, this scene would make you seem like these two are enemies. Amelie accepts the offer, briefly giving it a brief squeeze. A tight smile plasters itself across my face as I try to calculate the distance between our bridge and the other. Then the ground starts to shake more.
Jump!
Now! Well, I want to live! Use Neutrogena hand cream? Yeah! Pretty much at this point I've been using Nivea, Myers lotion, Aquifer, and just sometimes when I really need it, just some like castor oil. Because last week my hands were getting viciously inflamed. But I mean, it's the whole thing of stress trigger. But even I should be wearing gloves because it is cold out now. This whole thing of hands getting chillier, and even the whole fact of just to prevent myself from getting rheumatoid arthritis in the future. Because it's a very high chance of me having that, since my mother's side of the family, pretty much everyone had it, which is a terrible thing to have a high chance of. Yeah, I mean, Aquifer I pretty much use on my lips, since I have the issue of eczema there, and constantly wet mouth. So it's always my lips are trying to act like it's oversaturated with water. It's so silly how to describe that. Instead of the problem of having dry mouth that have too much liquid, yeah. Okay, so we're gonna jump. We're gonna survive. We shouldn't have to do anything else. We should be able to skip ahead. Oh my goodness. some romantic development has occurred since I made advances towards him, and then we just survived the jump, and he gently rubs a thumb over the top of my hand before he releases it. There's a clear sense of affection to it, with that little blushy face.
Stay close. We need to run.
But we're just like, I don't have time for this, Bamele. We gotta run.
I'll be right behind you.
And obviously we meet the other character, and I'm not going to be able to save this other dude, because last time when we experimented with the options I had, staying behind with the red-headed character ended up getting us killed. So maybe if I make a save, that will help me. So save here, just in case. That may help me. Oh, God. Getting eczema on your eyelids is terrible. I mean, there's barely any space on the skin to have bumps and swelling anyways. Gosh. Lips and mouths are opposites. I mean, what do you try to do for when you get eczema on your eyelids? Because, like, the moisturizer I use on my face still kind of made it irritated. I mean, I had a basic one, but I'd rather use my more fancy lotion because it keeps me more hydrated. It's just frustrating to deal with. Now I'm thinking about it. I shouldn't be touching my face. Stop. Okay, so we made a save. We're good on that. I mean, should I? I mean, I should be able to stay with him and not kill everybody, right? Put out a hand. Let's see what happens. He hesitates for a moment. Then he crosses back to me and puts a hand on my shoulder. And he smiles at me. Smile full of pride and nervousness and fear. I smile back, doing my best to communicate my gratitude and my resolve. What kind of smile would that be like? Or a little like... Can't tell whether he understands. He smiles. He always smiles. I mean, he softly guides his hand down the width of my arm before moving away for good.
Watch out for yourself, too. Not just for everyone else.
Oh, Margaret, thank you. Okay, everyone already notices that I'm trying to pursue Bamele. I mean, especially the big one. You wouldn't look at anyone like that. He laughs and speaks quietly.
It doesn't matter.
It does matter. Say nothing? He takes a deep breath, steadying himself. Wait, he disappears? And quicker than I could have anticipated, he darts away.
Wait!
Yeah, wait, what the fuck? Seriously, I have to agree with you? He can hear my shouts, he ignores them. Figure vanishes into darkness as if we're never there to begin with. He's gone? It occurs to me I could go after him if I move now, yet my feet stay firmly down. If I followed him, I would put both of us in more danger. Even if I found him, we would have lost the guide and would need to make our way on our own. Staring into the void, I have to admit the truth. He's not coming back, and I've lost him. I can't stay here longer. I run after the others, moving faster than usual to escape the guilt eating away at me. It's guaranteed no one will ever see him again. I didn't even ask his name. Margaret and Bemeli's figures materialize ahead of me. I push faster, both to catch up and leave these thoughts behind. So this is different than last time where I didn't run into them with the bellowing fire, but it does take away one more from our party. I don't know if that's the best thing to happen, but we are just trying to pursue one character, so let's see how this goes. Aveeno. Right, there is that brand. Aveeno has really been good about eczema. Which, I mean, yeah. Steroid cream, you gotta use it sparingly. Both for the fact of, for the kinds that I've used before, you can't overuse it and you don't want to keep heavily applying it. And especially because it's around your eyes. One false move, all this area is very freaking sensitive to any change. But hey, at least you're able to get prescribed it. Okay, better. I don't speak until I'm almost right next to the group. When I'm within earshot, the guilt hits me again.
Hello.
Yeah, like, hey, guys, he just walked away. We both whip around, surprised. I avoid their eyes, trying to keep my face as smooth and still as I can.
Kika, what happened? Are you all right?
Hey, I mean, he bolted off.
I'm fine, but he's gone.
Margaret tilts her head. Amelie stiffens. Neither say anything.
He ran off and I didn't do anything about it.
I mean, it's a little shocking that he decides to run off with no light, no protection or anything, and it's just like, bro, the direction you're going is entirely opposite.
Kika, it was his choice. You can't force someone to stay against their will.
Yeah, but obviously I know, logically, that's the only way you're gonna survive. I want to believe her, but I can't. I have the terrible, pressing feeling that he would still be here if I simply tried harder. Shame flushes down my back, my neck, my back, whichever, your spine. When the moment of truth came, I couldn't keep my ideals. How can I ask people to put their lives in my hands?
It was courageous of him. I am, at least, glad to have you back with the group, Kika.
Of course, Bemeli is glad. I mean, we are trying to pursue him. We have given him nuggets of her affection.
Welcome back.
Okay, Margaret, calm down with that voice. That was very sultry. We're not pursuing you right now. And the smile. Stop it, Margaret. You are the bumblebee right now. Calm down. Forced myself to smile.
We're going to keep walking.
Yes, Mr. Guide. All at once, I realized we've been standing still. The guide was watching us, but now that that slight tinge of anger had returned, he abruptly starts moving again without his usual grace. We fall quietly back into our previous formation. Bemeli at my side. It was nice to have him there again. I almost hated myself for feeling that way. With the way everyone is acting, it's like our meeting with the stranger never happened. If I wanted to, I could believe that. I can act as though nothing was wrong. But it did happen. And I'll never forget what he did for me. Which now it's a question, like, maybe it's just I need to look at a walkthrough, but isn't there a way we can bring everyone to the island? Because every which way I have tried it right now has failed to keep everyone alive. But then again, this game is sacrifice as well. There is choices involved. We turn down a different path, and the guide stops. Ahead of us stands a group of prowlers. At the sound of us, they turn their heads in unison, as if they knew we were coming. I inhale.
Not again.
Motherfuckers, we can't do this again. Prowlers wiggle somehow, their skin moving more slowly than it should. Sliding across the skeletons, they laugh.
We already lost a lantern and it's only our first day. We can't keep doing this.
Glow sticks would have been a great investment in this day and age to learn how to make.
Yes, we can't lose a lantern at this point. We're almost to the island.
So he's gonna have the clever idea to do Pyromania time. The guide rummages through his coat with his free hand.
What are you planning?
Bemele's tone is borderline threatening, but the guide ignores him. He pulls out a small pouch, then opens a latch on his lantern.
Wait, are you going to throw that at them? What if the bridge sets on fire?
Bygones, bygones, it's a magical bridge.
It will. We're going to run.
Which now is the question, how many times has he already done this? Because the whole fact of the matter is, the guide has been here for years, traveling back and forth, seeing countless people die in various different situations. It could be he's cold and detached because he can't take another loss personally. He could be something otherworldly. Who knows?
This is insane! These bridges are hellish enough without them also being on fire.
Yeah, it'll just feel a bit like a preview to the depths of hell.
And what about the other man? If he's still out there, this could...
He's dead. We're not losing another lantern.
Well, damn, you just were very adamant about that. He says it with such detached certainty, as if he saw it happen himself. No one argues with him. The guide steps closer to the prowlers. We fall into step behind him, staying close to his back. He bends his lantern back down until it's lowered to his outstretched arm. The pouch in his hand is set aflame. With a practiced flick of the wrist, he swings the staff back up, and the glass on the lantern snaps close.
Don't get left behind.
Okay, time for sprinty time. He takes 3 quick steps and then tosses the pouch. The prowlers are back in the water before the pouch even lands. As soon as it does, the fire starts to lick and curl itself around the wood. The fire! The guide breaks into a sprint, and so do the rest of us. The blaze grows despite the heavy dampness of the lake. These bridges aren't normal bridges. No, they literally appear out of water. If anything, they should be waterlogged, but somehow they're here. Of course that's true. Nothing here is right. Hopefully they won't collapse with the flames. We stay on the guide's heel, almost too close for comfort. He stops abruptly. We'll all crash into one another. Maybe even fall off the bridge. And the world tilts, and I'm mid-stride when I put my foot down. Oh, the bridge isn't where it was. It lurches to one side, either because it has weakened or pushed. Bemele and I manage to keep our ground, but Margaret falls to the ground. At least, I thought that's what happened. She starts pawing at the bridge. My glasses, my glasses. My glasses fell off. I can't see. Wouldn't this be the time to actually have strapped them on with rope or something? The guide, having regained his balance, presses on. He doesn't even bother to look at her. Bemelle and I run to Margaret, scanning the bridge, but there's no sign of her glasses. Flames are growing thicker and closer. The heat, life-sucking, close enough to nip at our heels. I grab Margaret's arm.
Your glasses aren't here anymore. We have to go or we'll lose the guide.
Fair enough? Margaret squints at me. Face paler than ever, she nods and stands. We start after the guide again. As our storm of feet thunder across the boards. Oh my gosh, a silver sliver. That tripped me up, that line, because literally, the only difference with those two words is the L and the I are switched around. Oh, that is just trippy. A silver sliver begins to rise into view just above the edge of the water.
It's the island.
Yay! Island? Are you sure? I squint and suddenly make out the craggy forms of land and earth. I see it. We're almost there. Safety at long last in sight. New energy surges through me. We push ourselves faster, longing to put these godforsaken bridges behind our backs. All at once, the bridge ends and our entire group rushes ashore. Earth. Solid earth. A haven from the water. I catch my breath while still moving even further from the dark shoreline. I can't believe we actually made it. Even more difficult is the idea we're only halfway done. When night falls once more, we have to do it again. A heavy arm falls across my shoulders. I straighten to see Bemelle smiling wearily at me.
Good work out there.
Yeah, I mean, we survived. I didn't have to see you die for the second time, so... progress. It's not the usual commendation. What is this word? I swear I've seen this word before. It is bugging my brain. COMMEN. Google, help me.
Commendation.
Commendation. Commendation? Commendation. Commendation.
Commendation.
Commendation. Okay. Thank you, Google. Really appreciate your help. Anyways, it's not the usual commendations of a job well done. There's sadness. Perhaps even sympathy in the sentence. It ends flatly. With a sigh, he leans his head to the side, having it rest slightly against mine. Ooh, they're bonding! Usually, Bemelle's comfort and good nature gives me at least the urge to smile, but right now it feels like a hollow victory. He moves to face Margaret, who's squinting at the surrounding areas. She's like,
Good work out there.
hey, at least he's just like doing a round of like huzzahs, cheers. The statement is more energetic. He's not willing to show a lack of confidence in front of her. Margaret smiles slightly.
How are you doing without your glasses?
Yeah, because how are we going to function here on out?
Oh, I'll manage. I have to, after all. I'm not completely blind, thankfully, so I can muddle my way through.
Yeah, but it's going to be dark as well. You can get the trick of a light or anything happening.
There isn't anything much to see out on those bridges. As long as you stay away from the edge, you should be as safe as you were before.
Fingers crossed!
That's true. It will be fine.
Oh, we hear it in your voice, Margaret. You're still concerned. And then the guide is there. He moves so smoothly that his steps are the soft sand or nearly silent, and his dusky clothes blend in with the thinning of the night.
The sun will rise soon. The fire on the bridge is the only reason this island isn't overrun with prowlers right now. However, they could still pose a threat.
Great! Nowhere's safe.
Is that why you decided to set the bridges on fire? To make the island safer?
It's not gonna be anything logical like that, is it? The guide looks at Margaret for what I've suddenly realized might be the only second or third time all night.
Setting the bridges alight isn't an uncommon strategy. It has many uses.
I mean, it sounds like you have a lot of strategic plans in place as well. I mean, you've been doing this a while, and you had that pouch ready to go. You have tricks up your sleeves. He walks away, Margaret frowning at his retreating form. Okay. The guide takes us to an area a bit further inland, but not too far from the water. Trees partially obscure our location, but there's enough room to watch the coast in case prowlers start to emerge from the water. Essentially, it's a place where ambush would be difficult, hard.
If any of you see anything at all, speak up. We don't want them to sneak up on us.
Fair point. Almost automatically, each member of the group turns in a different direction. For a brief second, I feel a flicker of pride. This night may have been awash with misery, but we're still here for each other. As the sky continues to fade from pale purple to muted blue, the waters stay silent. For the first time, nothing happens. It's a miracle. Suddenly, my chest is lighter and the air is fresher. God, just the backgrounds, the lighting of this game, so fucking pretty. The first pricks of light appear over the horizon, stinging my eyes after such a long journey through darkness. A sound catches my attention, and I move my focus towards its direction. The guide is opening the latch on his lantern again. He gently, almost respectively, blows out the light. A little.
We no longer have to worry about the Nixie. It is over for today.
And it's weird how much different the character looks in direct sunlight, too. That's another, just a little tidbit of the game to demonstrate night and darkness and how the characters are illuminated now. I'm almost unable to feel tears of relief from pouring out at those relief. I mean, wow, I did not read that. I'm almost unable to keep tears of relief from pouring out at those words. We've made it through the night. We've survived. No one feels the need to speak. We look at each other, understanding passing between us. And we find our own space, as comfortable as we can get, and lie down for the rest we weren't sure would ever come. Eyes slowly blink open and readjust to the brightness, what little there is. The sun obscured by a thick layer of fog, making it impossible to estimate the time of day. I prop up my elbows and push myself up. The ground is hard and rocky, but that isn't the only reason I'm eager to get on my feet. I check my surroundings. The harsh, craggy earth of the island is interlaced with twisting vines and gnarled branches. Beside me, Amelia and Margaret are still fast asleep. The guide, however, is nowhere to be seen. I realize that I don't recall seeing him lay down with everyone. It's likely he left us hours ago. There's a creeping silence here. I can't help but shudder at the hollow, aching feeling inside of me. It refuses to relent. I shift my weight back and forth, unsure of what to do with myself. Memories of last night's harrowing journey flicker through my mind. Amelie wakes suddenly, rising with alarm and startling Margaret awake as well. My mouth opens and then shuts after a moment of fumbling. A word finally escapes.
Hello.
Just, hi. How are you? Good morning. Amelie gives me a gentle smile and makes his way over to me. Margaret follows suit.
Morning.
Morning back.
Is it even morning anymore?
Perhaps afternoonish, maybe close to dusk. Margaret tries to speak lightheartedly. However, it doesn't do much to improve the mood. A pocket of quiet descends upon us.
We should eat something soon.
Smart thing, keep up your energy.
Margaret, do you have enough supplies?
Do you?
Yes, I think I'll be alright with what I have.
Where do you even have your supplies on you? I mean, you could have pockets in your skirt.
That's a relief. The two of us have plenty of rations, though, so if you need anything, you can always ask.
Thank you for being just a community supporter. Appreciate that, Mamele. Margaret sighs and presses her fingers to her temples, acting as if she's fed up with us.
You know, the two of you need to stop looking out for everyone else so much.
It's literally our job description. Mamele winces at the statement without vocalizing what's on his mind. Margaret and I share a glance. This is about the person we left behind yesterday. The person we didn't help.
I'm sorry, I didn't intend.
Hey, we understand from your perspective about you. It's just the other character decided to dip.
It's not your fault.
Yeah. It goes quiet between us once more. Hey, the guide's back. How are you? Did you get some rest? A distinct rustling of leaves around catches my attention. The guide appears, emerging from the thicket. Margaret appears to be a little uncomfortable at his return. Amelie glares at him as he makes his way over.
The Nixie will not tread on land in daylight. However, being near the shoreline is still dangerous. If you leave the center of the island, remain cautious.
That is terrifying. Terrifying, to say the least, that still in the day, potentially just want to go on the shoreline, pick up some shells, and get yoinked by a Nixie that's just hanging out in the water.
Before the sun sets, I will be in this area. It would be wise to meet me here before nightfall.
Fair.
Why did we have to leave him behind?
I mean, we didn't have to leave him behind. More so, I had an opportunity to give him trust that we would protect him or at least care. Because, I mean, he had the working mechanics to leave on his own. But still, just some kind of sympathy would have kept the character from bolting off. So, I mean, in the grand scheme of everything, I, the player, am the reason why he dipped. I sharply turn towards Bemeli as he snarls and confronts the guide.
If you would just let him follow behind us, he would be alive.
But he didn't want to go that direction is the other problem. He wanted to go the other direction. The guide looks away, seemingly unaffected.
If all you're going to do is leave everyone to be lost, then why bother guiding us at all?
Despite Bemeli's severe words, the guide apparently considers his piece here finished. He turns towards the forest area from which he came.
Wait,
Bemeli calls out to the guide, reaching towards him. Before he can make contact, I quickly place a hand on his shoulder. He lowers his hand to his side, though I can still feel wrath emanating from him. We stay this way until the guide disappears from view. Bemeli begins to kick at the ground, spraying tiny pieces of gravel about.
Bemeli, I know you're angry, but regardless of our feelings, we need the guide. If he leaves us, we'll all die.
That's stressful. That's very fucking stressful. Like, you gotta rein it in a bit. And I should make a save. And I shall return in a few moments.
One player, because it's just me. Yes. I don't need the jacket. My hands are not sweaty. Obviously, there's objects I can bump into. My personal best. My level skill is not super great, but I'm sure I will still do well.
I finally got my cosplay finally put together. Which, there was supposed to be 2 other little straps here, but they broke, and I haven't fixed it yet, so technically the cosplay is not 100% accurate, but I mean, look at it. Pumpkins on the head, the witch hat, the hair, it's very strange, having long, straight hair. I know, it's so exciting. Totally not blaming you, but you've been here for 3 days. You are been eliminated. You're causing all these problems. Goodbye. Everyone's cheering. They're like, yay! Finally, the deserter is going.
I tried. I really tried. Okay, Freddy, time to kill. Any day now. TikTok. Damn it, you still got me. You still got me to jump. Still impressive. The terror skill is not super great, but I'm sure I will still do well. Oh, nice move. What a good way to start a strike. That was fucking impressive.
Fun to play. Did I save it? Yeah. Oh, the devastation. How could I do this to myself? Wait, you guys, don't hustle so fast. I'll click it. There we go. Excellent. Now this is an entirely different site than what it is. There we go. But that's my own rant. I need some tape. Who else? Oh yeah. Our The dragon. Ah, yes, the 1,000, 10,000, however old Noe is dragon. I decided to pair her with Frederick. Makes no sense. I guess we're gonna go in here? Oh my god. Why? Come on, run. We are not doing this slowly. Because you're gonna pop out and I'm gonna feel like I need to punch somebody. Yeah, we just want to be in here. What the heck am I in here for? Oh fuck, we gotta fight Bishop right now?
I've been expecting you, Adol.
God, you are so condescending. Literally. This is how it feels. Here. This is the effect he has. I've been expecting you, Adol. That's literally the feeling he has. And he has his back turned to you. He's just like, oh, look who has arrived, finally.
Skill is not super great, but I'm sure I will still do well. Oh,
Nice
a good way to start a strike. That was fucking impressive.
I've already met him the past 5 months, and now he's starting to talk to me. Sure, let's go to the sea. It's gonna be a CG. He wants to talk to us. What's up? Oh, the little ruffles. I finally got my cosplay finally put together, which there was supposed to be 2 other little straps here, but they broke, and I haven't fixed it yet, so technically the cosplay is not 100% accurate, but I mean, look at it. Pumpkins on the head, the witch hat, the hair. It's very strange having long, straight hair. I know, it's so exciting. Ah, I like to swim in the nude, which is all fine and dandy if you ask me. What have I gotten myself into? Should have just stayed at a cheap motel. But while I was under the water, someone or something came along and snatched my clothes. And it wouldn't be decent of me to return my boss in the nude. So, here I am, trapped in the water for days. Here you are, yes, but what the hell are you doing? Do you have friends, family, or work you need to be doing? What was your plan? To swim until the universe brought you some pants? You'll shrivel up before then, or worse. Oh yeah, I should probably get back to my wife. What do you mean it's jam? How? Why? What do I else do? Please tell me I don't have to turn around. Oh, what the fuck? Finally! We finally finished the chapter! Oh my... Got medicine fruit. We got medicine fruit. Cookie. Gonna feel better? Dramatic pause. Monkey. Monkey! Yeah, we cured him, which is really questionable what the heck that fruit is. It's only fun to play. Did I save it? No. Oh, the devastation. How could I do this to myself? Wait, you guys, don't hustle so fast. I'll click it. There we go. Excellent. Now this is an entirely different site than what it is. Got back. What was it? Requests of the little baby Bradley, the Bradley, the Bradley. I mean, this is easier to see Bradley from if you go over here. Look at that, the baby! Baby. A butt. A butt. A fluffy butt. Fluffy. New toy. Burgers. Little bit. Little squeakies. Daddy. A little fluffy tail. A fluffy butt. Don't worry, I mean, her name is randomly spelled because what is it? How her original name came, they spelled it Brylee for her original name, and I was like, it's already on her medical papers. I'm not gonna fiddle with it. It's pretty much Riley. As long, but pretty much I call her Trash Panda, Baby, Chicken Nuggy, Fluffy Baby. But then her full name, Briley Mace Grimm. See, she's like, my full name, oh no. Like, you're okay, not in trouble. You're a good little monkey. Look at you, so majestic. You're so majestic. Which way? Higher time? Hey. But she goes by many names. There's her little ears just sticking up there. Just an adorable little monkey. No, you are a fluffy monkey. Oh, sleepy baby. Let's see, I did make a save. Right. Okay. Now we're about to exit the island and we will proceed on to night 2, which I don't know if it's just 2 nights of this event because I've yet to proceed past this. So this is entirely new information. So I will be surprised any way it goes. Just hopefully we don't kill anybody. Right, we have to calm ourselves. We can't ditch the guide.
And we've done so well with him.
Well, I mean, we got to the island. I give him a cold glance. You wouldn't even know which bridge to take without the guide. And Melly knows that. This needs to stop. There are people counting us to make it back. And what of Margaret?
We can't afford to lose our way.
Fair. Anger etched into expression fades into sadness.
You're right, Kika. You're right.
Hey, that's just the reality of the situation. I mean, how her expressions are, there's so many times where she just looks like she's just smiling, having a goofy expression. Especially when she's hyped up on energy, she has her eyes wide open and stuff. Oh, little baby, going your little cavern. Where are you going? Your toy. Hi. You're so tiny down there. Here's your toy. You want it? No? A little goober. Gosh. She really does look like she's smiling for attention. Hi. I see your little teeth. I see your little teeth. He weakly swats his hand in front of his face, as if trying to shoo away his racing thoughts.
I can't stay here right now.
Gotta blow off some steam, okay? I nod, allowing him to leave alone. Beside me, Margaret released a sigh.
Are you alright?
Yeah, how are you doing?
No, I'm not. Nothing is alright. It will never get any better.
Well, there's so many ways we can go about. We could agree with her, we can disagree, we could try to fight her on it, but I mean, everything's way too fresh and new to really calm her down besides just listening to her. Margaret sucks in a breath as she starts to get emotional. Before it can spill out of her, she turns on her heels and walks off in a direction different from the guides. Quietly, I speak. I have to see Bemele. Lingering for only a moment, I start following the trail Bemele took. It doesn't take him long to notice I'm there, and he slows his pace as I easily catch up. We fall into step for a short while, neither of us speaking. Eventually, we come to a thick stand of trees and wordlessly weave our way through the branches. Once we're hidden by the foliage, Bemele leans against a tree trunk and head hung low. Negativity radiating off of him, but I don't know what I should say. Fortunately, he breaks the silence.
I apologize for back there.
Appreciate that. Tudu? Can't help to love dogs since they give us, I mean, it's just having pets in general. When they are affectionate or they seek out just wanting to be near you, play toys, and just like their basic needs when they need to use the restroom or anything else. Yeah, it's the whole thing of unconditional love. They care about people and they will relearn to love so much, even like just to dive deep, but like pets who have been abused, like they can relearn to love so quickly and slowly at the same time. It's crazy, really, that pets just care about us, and it doesn't have to be complicated. They can just be there for us without having to expect things. They just want to be near us. No, because right now she just went into her little cavern so she could sit by me near. Oh, gosh. It's just precious. I nod firmly. His reply isn't unexpected. For as long as I've known Bemele, he has a tendency to let his temper flare, then regret it later, after processing his thoughts.
I know that dealing with these sorts of situations is part of the job, but I cannot tell myself everything is fine or that none of it matters.
It's the whole thing of picking your battles, where you will give your spoons to which energy, or even just taking in the bigger picture of the situation.
Sure, I can feel something without it being anger, but I've not figured that out either.
I mean, that takes time and experience to understand. Rather than speak, I try to listen as supportively as I can while Bemele continues to argue with himself. He sighs while pensively rubbing the bridge of his nose.
Am I simply being foolish? Would it really have been so harmful to try and help someone else instead of focusing solely on oneself? It looks to me like we're telling ourselves these lines to avoid responsibility.
I mean, yeah, that's a big thing. The whole thing of where you're going to cast blame, fault, if things simply happen because they happened, or that you prioritize something over the other. That you used to have, you used to have lovebirds? Oh, they used to go in your hair to preen me. Well, I mean, pretty much it's that. They cared about you, and everyone else was pushed to the side. They're like, nope, nope, nope. But it's the whole thing. They chose their person they care about, and how you gave them affection, they trusted you and you alone. But it's so funny having a pet be so loving to one person, and then they'll go around and be an asshole to everyone else. It kind of makes you chuckle, like, what is this dual personality?
I don't know. It's possible you helping would have worked better. It's also possible it would have been worse.
Yeah, because either way, it could have doomed everyone with that decision, or it could have just simply worked out. Bemele stares at the empty waters of Sinlos.
I want it to be clear that I have not forgotten that those people across this lake are depending upon us. Not for a moment. But would they want us to be so focused on them that we should turn a blind eye to others right in front of us?
Depending on how dire the situation is, that could be yes or no. Because it's the whole thing of priority list. What takes precedent over another? And even one person's event may affect them greater than the other. But honestly, you would want to live in a utopian world where that answer was they wouldn't want to be so focused, that they would want you to be helpful, but overextending yourself would cause greater harm to everyone.
Even if they would, does that matter? We are more than weapons. We are people. Do we have to cast that aside, turn away from our fellow humans, just to achieve a so-called greater good?
Oh man, we're getting into some deep questions here, pondering. But it helps in that context, their species being called lovebirds, because sure, they're giving you love. It's not love for all. And it could be a love-hate thing. I mean, I don't think they want to name them asshole birds. One love. Could be true mate birds. What else you could name them? Sour Patch birds.
It is not as though this village is a haven of saints. They are only as worthwhile as we are, and these people on the bridges with us, aren't they?
Oh. Dang, we're really getting into it and be like, hey, is it really worth it all the trouble for this village up ahead? Because they're not like a priestly place, it's not saints, it's just people. If anything, it's try to help as much as you can. I mean, don't put your foot in the grave while you're at it.
I don't know.
Now, you're making Kikia worried, but again, this is a lot of conversation to try and shove at someone right now. I can feel the weight of his words settle upon me. I've had similar thoughts and have questioned what the right choice is, but unlike Bemele, I've always been silent. I clench my fist tight to try and stop from saying something rash. Bemele closes his eyes and rubs his face again. It's clear this hasn't been enough to give him much peace. Eventually, his eyes reopen and look directly into mine.
What do you think about all this, Kika? Please, be honest with me. I want to hear it.
That sounds like a save. That sounds like a save. That really sounds like a time to save. Suddenly, my eyes are hot. My vision blurs slightly from the tears I'm desperately trying to hold back.
I really don't know. That is the truth.
Especially for her character, seeming that she's has to be calm, collected, steadfast, quiet, to be vocal, to be emotional, to be attached, is much more difficult for Kikia to embrace outside of her job. My words are soft. Whether he heard it or not, the look on my face is enough to garner attention. His eyebrows shoot up in surprise. He walks over to me slowly, concerned.
Kika, what is troubling you?
I mean, we had someone potentially die on us, so life itself.
I don't have the answers to what you were wondering. Who are we meant to protect? Everyone we can? Whoever we're told to serve and no one else? Just ourselves? Should we only try to protect others when the risk is minimal?
Oh my god, these are a lot of questions. Who are we meant to protect? Because especially realizing in that case, if you're capable and willing and able to protect, try and protect everyone, obviously, but it doesn't work as simple as that, because in that fact, unless you have the means and resources, there's going to be people who get left behind in that situation unless you have more people to protect, more networks, more support systems that can rely upon each other to help protect. And then it's the fact of we have systems in place that tell you to serve and protect certain people. I mean, talking about the police system, their whole motto says protect and serve, but we've seen a failure of catastrophic, astronomical levels of failing to protect those who need protecting. And then the whole fact of people looking out for just their best interests, but those who go out of their way to help others and they let themselves deteriorate in the process. And the whole fact of if the risk is minimal. I mean, God, that question alone, you can look at reference from iRobot, because the whole thing they do, the whole algorithm, the calculations, the risk factors, and people who could have been saved are discarded because the projected risk was too high. What a question. This is so freaking deep. Gosh, they did such good writing in this story for drama.
I have no idea what the right option is.
Melee's confusion only mounts with my words.
I am sorry for disappointing you.
No, you haven't disappointed me in any way. I never should have expected someone else to give me answers to those kinds of questions.
I mean, the big thing is, those are debate questions. Those are questions to open up what your perspective is and how do you yourself see the world. And even those are questions you have to ask yourself over and over again, depending on if your situation changes. Those aren't questions to look at someone else to give you.
It is only... I did not think that...
Does not finish his thought. But I know what he meant to say.
You did not think I was concerned with these issues.
He smiles awkwardly over being caught.
Yes. You never seemed to be bothered by anything we experienced before now.
Oh, her inner dialogue has expressed great botherment by everything. With his words, my carefully held resolve crumbles. In an instant, my cheeks are wet with hot fluid cooling in the air, the chilly air as it slips down my face.
I have always cared. I've always been afraid and confused, but I have kept up a...
I stop and gasp for air, my throat almost as tight as if we were running on the bridges.
a farce of strength in order to get by.
I breathe deeply with relief, terrified and light-headed from my confession. Ameli's voice is delicate as flower petals.
I had no idea. How could I not have noticed?
Masking, pretending, acting, everything in order to keep up an appearance, a persona, so others don't question your integrity, your dignity, your actions, following orders.
Because I did whatever I could to make sure no one did. I have never wished to appear weak in front of others. But the truth is, I barely get through each day. I often feel overwhelmed with sadness at all that we have experienced.
Ameli gently places hands on my shoulders. I try not to sob wildly.
Kika, I truly apologize for all the thoughtless things I have said to you.
I shake my head stiffly. Oh, sniffling.
There is no need for you to apologize.
He smiles, the warmth almost enough to make me forget the damp.
I beg to differ. I have failed to treat you right.
Oh, connecting with each other on a more personable level.
You have always been respectful.
A person needs more than respect from their comrades. They also need support. I have never given you that kind of consideration because I believed someone like you did not need it.
Ooh, breaking out the hard truths now.
The same could be said for me.
Nonsense. You have listened to my rambling on more occasions than I can remember. Though I admit my memories may not be there due to being drunk many of those times.
Oh. Ameli laughs at herself while glancing in my direction to encourage me to do the same. His comforting words make me smile, and I feel my tears finally cease to fall. I will continue to support you. I hear the ringies. He grins wider than he had since we began this horrible journey.
You have my thanks.
And you have mine.
Oh, little bonding moment. Abruptly, his expression becomes serious once more.
I will come to answer these questions someday. But no matter what I decide, I will still put trust in your judgment.
Okay. I fear I may not live up to the belief he seems to have in me, but I nod firmly. He returns my nod.
Perhaps we should go check how everything is on the island.
Perhaps we should. After such a kind of ripping open a wound kind of experience, heart to heart.
That sounds like an excellent idea. And I will accompany you, of course.
Of course.
Glad to hear it.
Together we walk back towards the interior of the island. Both our mood lift as we stay side by side. Ameli and head through the wooded part of the island. There isn't anything that could be called a path, but we managed to pick our way through the brush quite well. Through this thinning stand of trees, we briefly catch sight of the guide standing on one of the beaches. He seems fine, even though I'm sure he turned his head towards me. He makes no show of acknowledging us. Continuing on, Bemeli and I cross the island in search of Margaret. Out of nowhere, a shudder runs down my spine, and I barely can stop myself from checking behind me. Darkness flickers through my mind, and I hold my breath. A pat to my back brings me back into the light, a reminder I'm not alone. I look up to see Bemeli, his touch more comforting than words could be. Suddenly, I know I don't need to hide my emotions. There's no reason to act as though nothing is wrong when it is. Bemeli already knows. I have hidden my emotions for so long that it's still my first instinct. But somehow I sense an assurance from him. Bemeli will be there to remind me that it's okay, and to support me when I feel I might break from the weight of experiences. I give Bemeli a hesitant glance. He notices and returns my gaze, staring into my eyes. I feel the words spill out from my mouth before I realize what I'm saying.
Would you like to take a walk with me?
Ho ho ho! A little bit more time together. I take a moment to part some brush out of my past before explaining myself.
We could pass around the edges of the forest where there's less in the way. There doesn't need to be a purpose to the walk. It only needs to be a way to spend time together.
Just trying to be subtle, like I don't want to part ways quite yet.
I would prefer that to not doing anything.
Okay.
I would be delighted to accompany you, Kika.
And delighted I am as well. But where is Margaret? We said we were going to look for her, and now I'm concerned. I'm gladdened by his response. It'll only make me feel all the sillier for suggesting it.
Perhaps it may be better not to, after all. We'll be walking all throughout the night.
I mean, that way you stay limber and relaxed. I mean, sitting for too long is not going to keep you prepared for what you have to do ahead.
I believe I've spent quite enough time resting. If I'm being honest, I think I need a break from all this waiting around.
And he's like, hey, you suggested we go on a walk? He's willing to follow. My lips curl into a smile.
All right. We'll do that then.
This is bad. I don't know. Should I make a choice?
Of course. That's our first priority.
Load the file. After we speak to Margaret?
Of course. That's our first priority.
That didn't make the ringy sound. Or just not say anything?
Of course. That's our first priority.
We heard the ringy sound. I guess we'll just leave it as that.
Thank you, Bemeli.
Bemeli moves a little closer to me.
I'm happy to.
Ew. I'm not sure if we'll be much help, but there's no way I'm leaving Margaret all alone here for longer. She may want to have someone to talk to. It takes longer than I had hoped to track through the brambles, but we find her in decent enough time. Margaret begrudgingly lifts her head as we approach, enabling me to see that her face is damp and tear-stained. While her eyes are red and puffy, she's been crying. I shift uncomfortably on my feet.
Is something the matter?
Maybe make it a little bit more specific. Generally speaking, a lot is a matter. Margaret releases a humorless laugh.
I take it the guards are doing their rounds.
See, she is a bumblebee. Cute and adorable, but she will sting you to death. Amelie steal a glance at each other. Amelie lightly chuckles.
It seems we are. Old habits die hard.
And we wanted to spend a few more moments together.
Well, that's nice.
She speaks somewhat curtly, but at least she no longer seemed as depressed.
I'm happy to report that everything's in order on this front.
Okay, you want to play the game a little?
Good to hear that.
Margaret isn't saying what's actually on her mind, but I have no way to reach her. I'm sorry, Margaret. I swear we will pursue you.
Is that everything?
She's so distant with us from yesterday. Amelie scratches his chin.
We can leave you for now if that's what you'd like. Wouldn't want to be a nuisance.
That would be most appreciated. I'd like to have a little time to myself before we return back out there.
Yeah, a little stressful.
We'll be around if anything comes up.
Thank you for that and for stopping by.
I smile at her. Sweet little bumblebee. Amelie gives a wave.
Be well.
Be very well. Please live.
Goodbye.
The two of us leave Margaret as per request. I swallow thickly as we go. I can only hope that Margaret will be able to sort through her thoughts before it's too late. Amelie lightly squeezed my hand, gardening my attention.
So, would you still be interested in our little stroll?
Perhaps.
Yes, that would be nice.
So what are we going to do? Is this a bonding moment? Could we catch upon the guide, not the guard? Amelie beams at me.
We best be heading out then.
Onwards to adventure. Amelie pointedly tightens his grip on my hand. Despite already holding my attention, I return a squeeze. A bashful expression washes over him. So it's not enough to make him let go. We reach the edge where the shore meets the forest and trek along it. Wow, this is such a soft-sounding piece of music. Amelie makes small talk on just about anything and everything. Reminds me of our journey before we reached the lake. The more I dwell on it, though, the more I realize how drastically things have changed in the matter of days. Amelie's discourse forms a mirror from one time to another in my mind, casting all that has changed in glaring sliver? He swings her hand back and forth slightly as he continues to lead the conversation, trying not to let me become too absorbed in my troubling muses. After winding our way around a large stretch of the island, a massively overgrown tree intersects our path. I move to push the offending branches out of the way, but Amelie stops me.
Please, let me handle this.
Oh, he wants to be the gentleman. I let my arm fall as I watch him. Well, you're gonna be dashing with a sword? Okay. Bimeli unsheaths his sword and chops the branch down in a single blow. He releases a hearty laugh and I grin at him. The sheer audacity of the action enabling me to ignore his sword misuse.
It's been far too long since I've taken it out. At this rate, I'll forget how to even use a sword before we arrive.
Now.
I see.
That can be taken as us just being observant or a bit sarcastic. I unsheath my own sword and level the honed edge at him.
Would you be up for a bout of sparring?
We're going to spar. This is excellent. He doesn't miss a beat.
I'll accept that.
A little banter with weapons? I step onto the sand to give us a little space, and Bimeli eagerly trails behind me. Ooh, what a nice CG! Hey! Once we find our footing, Bimeli assumes a defensive stance, center turned away from me and sword drawn in front of his body. I do the same as I circle him swiftly, being sure to stay out of his striking distance as I watch for the slightest tell of an opening. Whenever he attempts to put some space between us, I dart in towards his back, forcing him to stay mostly in place to defend. It takes 3 sharp jabs before what I was hoping for happens. As he turns to face me, one of his feet lands slightly out of place in the loose sand, and I take my opening, striking immediately. Bimeli regains his balance just before I make contact, though, parrying and using his heavier frame to force me back a few steps, even as I jump out from the sword lock. Hoping to catch me off balance with his push, he strikes, but I weave out of the way. Bimeli has more strength and a larger striking distance than I do, so I've learned to capitalize on my higher agility and smaller hit zone in facing him, even if I'm usually prefer a more grounded strategy. We trade blows. I was like, what was behind my foot? We trade blows, neither of us ever scoring a hit, but both keeping each other on edge. For a little while, time flows past us easily. There's nothing that matters but avoiding an attack that will never be lethal, grinning at our steel clashes. Noticing my labored breathing, I call off the fight.
Stop. We can't exert all our energy here.
Well, just have a good little exercise moment. I mean, in a way, because I mean, this is an Otome game as well, so we are technically pursuing this character. And being that they are the 2 mercenaries, the swordsmen of the story, it just screams chemistry and tension when they're doing a little sword fight. But hey, it's still fun to read the trashy novels at times. But thank you for observing that thought. It definitely got me caught off guard to laugh. Bimeli releases a winded chuckle.
Thank God there's at least one of us responsible enough to point that out.
I smile and return my sword to its scabbard. Bimeli does likewise and glances over at me.
Would it perhaps be all right to at least finish our stroll before sitting back down again?
Perhaps. A few more things to see.
We shouldn't go the entire length of the island, but I suppose we can walk just a little longer.
It's a deal.
Hey. I wonder what's the correct choice. Walk a little closer. Allow myself to drift closer to Bimeli. There's not much space between us as we walk side by side. Emele views me from the corner of his eye and looks more than pleased. Oh, look at that. We got an achievement unlocked. Comfort. Hoo-hoo. For a brief moment, all the troublesome circumstances seem to float away from our minds, and we enjoy each other's company. I wish it could go on for so much longer. It's only a while later that I have to speak up again.
We really should rest before nightfall.
Yeah, we gotta take some R&R.
I'm fine with that idea.
Are you going to take a nap beside each other? Emele leads us over to the area where the guide mentioned we were going to meet. He lowers himself down to the ground and stretches out right there, presumably intending to wait until the guide arrives. That's a little bit more dramatic of resting than I planned. I walk over and make myself comfortable next to him. Though not as comfortable as he has made himself. It isn't very long until Margaret appears. She doesn't comment on our resting positions. However, she's clearly smirking about it.
Hello, Margaret.
Like, hey, what's up?
Are you still holding up fine?
I mean, trauma.
I would rather speak of anything other than that.
Fair.
I think we can manage that.
Maybe talk about your fighting skills. The three of us quietly wait for the guide's arrival, occasionally chatting with one another as we rest. And now darkness is upon us, nearly. The sky turns orange as sunset comes upon us. As the colors seems to drain from the world, being consumed by the fog, the guide makes his appearance.
It's almost time.
Very. I nod and feel myself grow tense. We're truly about to return to those bridges. All of us wait in an uncomfortable silence until night falls. We silently stand as one, forming a vigil of sorts. Our remaining lanterns illuminate the dark, preparing for tonight's journey. And yet, the way forward doesn't appear. The bridges haven't risen from the depths. I glance to my side. The guide doesn't look at all pleased. Corners of his mouth have a harsh bent as he briefly loses himself in heavy thoughts.
We must go to the shore.
It won't activate yet? He doesn't offer an explanation for why. Instead, he goes on without us. I follow after the guide, my forehead creasing with swelling worry. Behind me, I hear Emele's and Margaret's unsure footsteps. The four of us press on to the shore. The dark waters lap at the edge of the sand, and as expected, the maze is still hidden beneath the surface. The guide grips his staff tighter still, his knuckles turning ghostly white. He sucks in a breath of air like he's about to speak, but he hesitates. We all stare at him unexpectedly. After a moment more, the guide is fed up with waiting.
The bridges are late. If they don't arrive as soon as darkness falls, there's no telling exactly how long it will be before they do.
The bridges can just show up whenever they want? That's not good. Let me save, honestly, but it's like, they could just willy-nilly decide to, oh, maybe it could be like a punishment because he lit the bridge on fire. But that's very freaking stressful that they can just come and go as they please. Yeah, Bamele's face immediately sours, but he's unable to stay silent about his feelings.
So we're going to waste our time standing idly by. There's hardly enough time to make the trip as it is.
I don't know what to tell you. I can't just go bippity bop, bridges rise.
Complaining won't make these bridges come any sooner, though I sympathize with your frustrations. The wait had already been tense as it was. Not knowing how much longer it will last makes it that much more dreadful.
Fair point, Margaret. You're thinking with your head right now.
Time is by far the least of our worries. On the bridges we are constantly moving, which makes it easier to avoid the prowlers. This island does not offer that luxury. We're trapped here.
Is this gonna take longer than 2 days to get over this bridge? My body goes rigid as his words sink in.
More importantly, the bridges are raised above the waters. Nixie have difficulties pulling themselves up onto the bridges. The soft sloping of the shore will allow far more prowlers to drag themselves towards us.
So, are we literally gonna be trapped here for the night, or are they just... the bridge is gonna pop up at some point? Because, I mean, this is all new information to me.
Not all will be as dangerous as the ones we've encountered thus far. However, we could easily be overwhelmed.
Can't we just climb some trees? A pit forms deep in my stomach. I stare aghast. I had no idea the situation was that dire. I glance from the waterline to the trees. What am I looking for? I don't know. A sign of what might be to come, perhaps?
I wonder if those fires had anything to do with this.
Thank you for bringing up that question. Is it a penalty of sorts? Bamele's words are biting as he wonders aloud. The guide answers Bamele firmly, wanting to put an end to his speculations.
No. Whatever magic controlling the bridges is inconsistent. Humans haven't found a way to impact it. We can only do temporary physical damage to the boards.
So it's quite literally magic forming this. And only to do temporary damage so it will recover, even with the fire? This is insane, the lore information behind this. Melly is still displeased. Margaret moves into discussion. Mood is rapidly declining as well.
Then what should we do? We shouldn't stay on the shore if the monsters could be coming towards us at any moment.
When are we gonna know when the bridges arise? The guide closes his eyes and suddenly looks very worn down.
Staying in the center of the island is the safest option. However, there's the risk that we may not be able to reach the bridges when they do rise. Prowlers could have taken full control of the shore by then.
So we're gonna have to make a choice to maybe wait it out a night?
Remaining here with our lanterns will ensure the prowlers cannot move freely.
How long, though? My brows involuntarily knit together. I don't like the sound of taking additional risks in an area that's already so dangerous. Our options are thin.
I will not be kept on this island for another day, so the shore is where I will be. You may wait at the edge of the forest, or even at the center of the island if you fear being attacked.
Sounds like a time I need to save.
If the prowlers come between us and you fail to make it to the bridges, I will leave you behind.
So many freaking risk factors. Do we just have to sit here with you? Emily spits hatefully under his breath.
Of course you would.
I mean, the guide... he's providing a service, but clearly how he goes about his business, it feels like he's only in it for himself, but he is trying to make sure other people get across the island and the bridges. But the way he goes about expressing it and how he chooses to take action is confusing everyone. True, generosity is not something I would expect from the guide. But that's not the conversation we need to have at this moment. The guide has made his decision, and we must make we must make ours.
If you were staying by the shore, perhaps I could be positioned somewhat further back from you. And then the others could stay further back still. That would keep us safer, without having any major gaps of darkness between us and the shore.
Look at that, Kikia the Steadfast, thinking on her feet. Bravo.
Good suggestion, Kika.
I'd say that's likely our best option, and we don't have time to come up with any other way regardless.
Now it's the question, was there another option if the other stranger was with us too? Settled on the matter, the three of us begin to move away from the guide. He pays little attention to us, instead silently fixing his eyes on the water. I take my place in the middle of the shore while Bemele and Margaret hover closer to the island's core on the line between dirt and sand. After getting a sense of where they are, I turn my gaze ahead. Is that water or that eyes of Nyx? At first, I think I'm being fooled by the fog. There are several white dots playing along the edges of the water. Dark globes begin to surface, and I see them for what they are. Eyes. So many white, dribbling eyes gleaming sharply against their pitch-black bodies as Nyx bob up and down. They surface and disappear in a loop, each time more sets of eyes and closer, surveying us more intently. Then they cackle. The sound is atrocious, gurgling, then turning high-pitched as they seem to take full stock of us. I don't know what that little sound was. The light in their eyes somehow seemed brighter as the first of the Nyx dragged their claws into the sand and began dragging themselves upon the shore. I plant my feet firmer. A shrill shriek pierces the air, accompanied by a telltale hiss. I whip my head backwards towards the sound, only to be greeted by cold black... Oh no, wait. Are you telling me Bemele and Margaret are gone? Only to be greeted by cold black darkness. I cry out desperately into the void where Margaret and Bemele stood.
What happened?
Oh my god, everyone is dead now. Are they alive? Because I'm going to be hell mad if I just got everyone killed. Oh god, please tell me, why didn't they make a sound? Where are they? Okay, Margaret, we hear your voice. But where's Bemele? There was silence. Then the best sound possible. Bumblebee is still alive. Margaret's voice replies, a bit shakily.
There was a prowler in the woods. I didn't notice it until it was already too close to me. I dropped my lantern when I saw it. The light was enough to drive it away, but now it's gone. Shattered.
Oh my god. So we have my light, the guide's light. So do we have two lanterns, or does Bemele have a lantern too? Because I swivel my head back to make sure the shore is still clear before I sprint over to release them from the darkness with my own light. Release them. You said Margaret. What? Margaret stares down at the ground dejectedly when I arrive. Oh, okay, so Bemeli's there too. Bemeli has his hand placed on her shoulder.
I didn't see the thing either. The monster blended in far too well with the dark, crooked trees of this place.
So shouldn't he be, like, sitting in the trees then? Was that not an option? He gives me a sad smile as I approach the two closer.
We can make a small fire for light.
Yeah, why did we not do that? We could have saved the lantern. You just have a kindling fire. Margaret sniffles loudly.
That may work for now, but what will we do once we're back on the bridges?
Torch? Do we not have materials to make a torch? Sap of any kind?
We will manage.
Okay, I believe you. I'm putting my full trust in you. I speak firmly, trying to assure her. Can't even guess how effective the attempt was. There you go. Hang on just a second, because I need to see if that thing actually loaded. Did it load? Did it not? Yeah. Why is it saying it's taking 2 hours to load? That is a lie. Can you stop fiddling and diddling, please? Yeah. Drama. Yes, I know I'm texting. Right in the middle of the drama. French. There we go. English. We did it. We typed correctly. Yeah. Bemeli begins to gather dry twigs, stones, and grass to craft a fire with. Margaret moves to help him, though she still looks terribly upset. I feel awful. It wasn't her fault. We dig a few inches down in the sandy soil before making an edging with the rocks to stop the fire from giving us a repeat of last night. I layer the fuel quickly and light a match at the base of the pit. Margaret stokes the fire with Bemeli feeding it twigs. The grass ignites easily and showers the area with enough light to keep anything else that may be lurking in the forest at bay. I release a discreet sigh. We're truly lucky no one was injured or lost during this ordeal. I keep that thought to myself, however. Hearing it would only make Margaret feel worse.
You should go back to your position, Kika. It will all be for nothing if we can't make it onto the bridges in the first place.
I hope we made a good choice.
Right.
I forced myself to sound bold.
We're going to get through this.
I trust in the choices I've made. Maybe there's something else I could have picked, but I'm sure we can manage. Margaret attempts to smile at me, and Bemeli waves as I cautiously back up to my original position. I return my full focus to the shore, as we fear this is becoming a pressing situation. More prowlers rose from the water while my attention was on those two. They have surrounded the guide on both sides. The only way to gain distance from them would be to delve further into the island, yet the guide shows no sign of giving up his position. He remains where he is, resolved to keep all the monsters near him in his sight. I grow more unnerved the longer I watch this. The guide seems impervious to the danger of Sinlos. This is the first case where I can't tell where he will continue to be fine as always or not. This is a distressing notion. As they creep even closer, I can't stay silent any longer.
Your safety is most important. Consider retreating.
Because what happens now? Is he actually gonna die, or is he just gonna dip on us? He doesn't face me, but replies.
I cannot do that. Nixie recognized signs of weakness. Backing away will only increase the odds of them attacking.
So you staying there steadfast is smarter? I grip the lantern tightly as I swallow hard. That sounds like a save point. What can I do? As if to answer my own question, a thought whispers into my mind, and I look down at my lantern in my hand. I could throw it. As long as I don't let it go too far down the shore. It doesn't seem plausible that a Nixie could take it, but it could break. But if I do lose the lantern, especially after Margaret lost her own only moments ago, then I watch. I can't act rashly here. The guide has managed through every situation we've been through, as well as countless others we do not bear witness to. I resolve to continue with what we've planned and keep my position. Please don't get anyone killed. Please don't get anyone killed. Without flinching, the guide keeps hold of our position on the waterline. I periodically switch between watching him, the others, and the rest of the shore. What? As I scan the forest, there's a stinging groan. Was that the guide? Can't be. Oh, I stand rigidly in shock, a painful prickling sensation going down my back, before whipping around to face the truth. He's crouched low on the ground, staring forcefully at a group of Nyx headed on. There's a whole other group of monsters rapidly crawling back into the water.
Hey!
Yeah, what is up? I step forward with a shout, but he puts out one of his hands to halt me. I do not go further. I and those creatures motionally watch for what he'll do. Are you good, man? His fingers curl tightly around the upper half of his staff. With great effort, he begins to rise to his unstable feet. The moment he's upright fully, the guide aggressively swings his lantern at the encroaching Nixie, catches them completely off guard, and they scatter to rejoin the rest in the black depths. The guide crumples back into the sand unceremoniously. I can hear his ragged breaths as he regains his composure. Bro, did you not go to sleep? He tugs at one side of his cloak, bringing it close to himself. Wait, he got hurt? He covers up a dark, growing stain creeping through his right pant leg. Even when collapsed, he seems compelled to hide his fragility? Fragility? Is that admirable or saddening? I don't know anymore. The guide roughly pulls himself back to his feet and forces himself to remain standing. The rest of us must remain strong as well if we're to survive this night. Gripping my lantern, I watch over everything and everyone in slight vigilancy. After an untold period of time, the water begins to stir. There's unusual gurgling, a sound I never thought would be this relieved to hear. Slowly creaking, the bridges make their nightly appearance. Sinlos is an overwhelmingly cruel environment. This island has felt like a safe haven such a short time ago. But that has been twisted to a point where I'm grateful for a chance to return to the maze. We might not even reach that. More Nyx are breaching the water, retching themselves onto the sand. The guide signals to all of us.
We have to leave.
Now! Thanks to his position on the shore, the guide is able to board the bridges without confrontation. The rest of us, however, the Nyx begin to crowd the opening. It appears they want to get on themselves. We have desperately little time before we can cut off from the guide. I look to my lantern. Will this light alone be enough to cause them to disperse?
Come on!
Margaret's shout cuts straight through my thoughts. Thank you, Margaret. You are a genius. Look at that. See? A torch. Oh my gosh, you are a genius. She's advancing towards me, holding a heavy stick with the end set afire as a makeshift torch. The sight is striking. Well, I mean, they did say her character's desperate.
It won't last long. We need to get through now.
Okay. She needs not say any more. Three of us push our way forward as we advance. Margaret relays her plan.
We'll toss the branch when we get close. The smoke spewing off this thing is making it even harder to see than usual. So you tell me when it's time, Kika.
That sounds like a save time. Stressful as can be.
I can do that.
Hopefully. The shore approaches closer and closer, and every single one of the Nyx turn their attention towards our small group. Now? After alerting Margaret, she gives her all to hurl the flame ahead of us, while avoiding setting the bridge itself on fire. The monsters flee from the torch. The path is clear. We waste not one moment sprinting towards the bridges. Yay, we're back on the bridges! Ah! While the others near my side, I amble back to the maze. We do not stop until there is a considerable distance between us and the shore. It is there that we encounter the guide. On seeing his figure, I sighed a sign of relief. We hadn't been left behind. Our arrival doesn't change the guide's empty expression. He doesn't say or do anything, instead allowing us to catch our breath. Amelie starts to laugh incredulously, though, through uneven breaths.
Such recklessness. I can hardly believe it worked.
Hey, you gotta do some things a little rough around the edges. Margaret chimes in, equally as mazed and exhausted.
I don't know how we managed to do nothing wrong. That feels far more fitting for this journey.
Though, is there going to be more choices that are going to be debilitating?
Yes, you could have burnt your fingertips off. Or perhaps the bridges could have gone up in flames.
Nah. Margaret looks at him curiously. Amelie gives her a wink.
That would have been the outcome if I was handling the torch, you think?
Oh. Margaret's lips quip into a smirk.
Yes.
Oh. You were just a bumblebee to the end. We treasure the moment of triumph as a little more before the guide ends his silence.
We need to start walking. We've already lost much time as it is.
Okay. So, is this gonna take 3 days, or are we nearing the end? As soon as he finishes the statement, he stumbles, nearly falling back down. A hand slips down the shaft of his staff as he sinks to the ground. He gasps under his breath.
Are you alright? Is there anything we can do? I don't have much, but I could still clean and wrap it.
So how are you injured? Like, literally, we were on that island. Did you go play around with a Nyx or something? Take a few hurried steps closer. I reach my hand out towards him, in which he curls away like a barn cat. He turns his gaze up to me and shakes his head.
I tended to it myself when you were still on the shore.
But again, how bad is it? Moments tick by as I stare at him, growing even more nervous. As horrible as his injury is, larger situation at play is dire at all. For there's a weight bearing down on each of us, threatening to bring the entire group to his knees, rather than only our lead. We can't stay here.
Are you able to walk?
Do we need to do a piggyback situation? He eyes his feet with gritted teeth and clenches his staff tighter.
Not like this.
What we gonna do? A beat of quiet passes before he continues, his voice slightly ragged.
I have a way. It will be enough to get to the other side.
Drugs? Yeah, it's gonna be some kind of medicine. Shakily, he removes a hand from his staff and reaches into his cloak, searching for something. I have little choice but to watch as he searches his pockets. Panic that we thought was past starts to creep back in. Retrieves a small vial with a viscous liquid inside, swishing it slightly as he holds it up. I peer at it curiously.
Drinking this will numb the pain. I'll be able to ignore that my leg is injured for the time being.
But you're gonna cause more damage. I analyze the vial hesitantly, pensive as I mule over the possible other effects it could have. Something that potent would be a miracle drug if there was no downsides along with the positives.
Is that safe? It must cause drowsiness or have some kind of impact on you. Not to mention, pushing your leg so hard when it's in that state could permanently ruin it.
Right. He regards me as his lip twists partway into a snarl.
My leg isn't broken. It will heal without issue once I'm able to treat it. In order for that to happen, however, I need to live.
Fair point, but isn't there something else we can do in order to keep you from having to consume a drug that could possibly lose sight of your abilities? I flinch slightly. He wouldn't usually snap at such a question. Pain must truly be getting to him.
What about side effects? You didn't say what they were.
There you go. Bring up the questions. What is the truth? Emily steps in closer to the guide. His questions harsh enough to be demand. Emily's trust in the guide has steadily declined since the first night. With the way he's acting, I cannot ignore the sense that it may come to a head before the journey is over. The guide levels a deeply unimpressive look at Bemeli. He then sighs, raising the bottle up so that it's more visible. He swishes it around almost impatiently.
It can slow reflexes and cloud the mind.
Maybe not take it then. Immediately, Bemeli's eyes widen incredulously. Margaret gasps quietly, bringing a hand to her mouth. The guide heaves another sigh, though the pain in it makes it sound more akin to a groan. He's still impatient with the group's delay as time marches on.
I will only be taking half a dose. It won't ease all of the pain. However, it will reduce the odds that I will be notably impacted by any adverse effects.
Well, I mean, half a dose, it would ease the problem.
I know how you feel about others coming close to you, but is that truly the best solution to a situation like this? You need to be clear-headed here.
Yeah, and have you taken this drug before? Margaret looks at the bottle and then at him skeptically. Bemelli takes another heavy step forward. He meets the guy's eyes stonily.
No, you can't drink something like that. I'll carry you.
Yeah, but if you get pulled in, both of you get pulled in. Bemelli presses forward, encroaching on the guide's personal space. The guide visibly shrinks back again. However, he can't hobble much further away due to his injured leg.
That won't.
Before the guide can put forth another word, Bemelli snatches the bottle straight from his hand. Everyone's stunned to silence by Bemelli's action. Even the guide has a trouble expressing any sort of emotion beyond furious disbelief. Bemelli ignores Oliver's reaction and smiles triumphantly, holding the bottle like a trophy.
You have made it very clear that at the first inconvenience, you would leave us all for dead in the water. As you are now, that is impossible.
That is threatening. That's not a really good way to interact with the person who's supposed to be guiding you. Guide narrows his eyes at Bemelli, who only gives him a taunting grin.
So, this isn't about any possible adverse effects. You want to leave me injured and immobile on purpose.
We shouldn't be doing that. That's not a good way to go about it. Bemelli shrugs and then returns to the smirking, almost cockily.
If there were no side effects, I likely would have thought nothing of it. However, mentioning those risks triggered something in my mind. You've never done what's best for the group. You only choose the safe option for yourself.
I mean, we did bring that up just a bit ago. It feels like his priority is him first, everyone else second. Though he did wait for us, is a thing, and he's mentioned the risk at the start.
With that in mind, I can't exactly trust you when you tell us that the medicine is truly our one option. Now, even if carrying you means that you will be more at risk than otherwise, I'm willing to make that sacrifice.
But is the guide willing to take that sacrifice? Bemelli chuckles diversely and rolls his eyes while spinning the medicine vial between his fingers. Please don't drop it, though.
I hope you're proud that I'm following your advised method of not considering others, guide. Despite
Bemelli's sarcastic jab, the guide returns to his usual empty, deadpan expression and makes no attempt at rebuttal.
There, he accepts it. What of you?
Bemelli, you're really not acting in the favor of the group, though. You're getting too emotionally invested. Bemelli turns to look at us curiously. Margaret snorts slightly at the inquiry.
That stunt was so ill-advised, I never expected even you to attempt something like it. What if the guide had another bottle with him? We would have all been abandoned by now.
Yeah, that's another risk at hand. Bemelli pulls a mischievous smirk.
I'd have taken that bottle too.
But what if someone fell in the water? Margaret shakes her head at his response. However, she doesn't seem too over upset. Wow, that was not even English. She doesn't seem too upset over this. She seems more at ease than she had been for some time. I mean, it shook everyone up. Benelli seems rather pleased by the reactions thus far, grinning widely at us.
If anyone is worried about my ability to carry the guide for the rest of the night, you shouldn't be. Rest assured, a willowy man like the guide won't slow me down whatsoever.
Are we really trusting in that fact? He puffs his chest out proudly. Margaret can't suppress the laughter that bubbles up from her chest. She waves off Bemelli's boasting with a silly grin on her face. How long are we gonna sit here chatting?
You are an absolute buffoon.
A buffoon? Bemelli faces me expectantly. The guide also levels a steely glaze in my direction. We may have been a bit of fun getting the upper hand on the guide for a change, but if we don't go back now, we never will, though. Do we truly need to? All that matters is reaching the shore safely. What really is the best in the situation? Ow, decisions. I sense a decision. Oh no, time. This could work. Maybe that's the best choice. Because if he's impaired... I don't know. I'm scared of this choice I've just made for the group. Okay. Bemelli's grin widens ecstatically at my lack of resistance. I'm like... Okay. I feel nerves turning my insides jittery as I think over doing something so drastically. No matter the fear, this has to be done. Even though the guide can be trusted to show us the correct path, he's not reliable when it comes to anything else. If we let him do as he wishes, it's very possible that at some point during this night, he will lead us to die.
I believe you are capable of carrying the guide to the other side. That seems like the least risky option we have for the group at large.
But as soon as the guide could possibly sneak back the drink and run off, he could ditch us. That's a scary thought. Emily lets out a small, triumphant laugh and tosses the vial over to me. I catch it and quickly tuck it away in my pocket. I'll return it to its rightful owner once we've made it to the shore. I feel like that's going to come up at some point. Emily steps back up to the guide's side, still shrinks slightly beneath him. The guide narrows his eyes as Bemelli grows near.
Fret not. I will take proper care to lift you. This isn't the first time I've carried an injured traveling partner. I'll have to hoist you over my shoulder since we've still got a ways to go. I ask that you don't make too much of a fuss about it.
Did I click over something else? Oh no, the text. What are you doing? Bro, I'm trying to read the text. Bemelli steps back up to the guide's side. Oh, okay, so I didn't miss the text. The guide stares at him plainly.
I'm hardly in a position to resist. You've taken away my ability to do anything but be dependent on you and your decisions.
Which could absolutely screw us if that is the thought.
Even though this path was only taken because I am not someone you care for rather than true pragmatism, it is a better mindset to have on these bridges than how you've acted thus far.
Okay, I mean, that is a compliment to him. But still, it does show Bemelli can be cunning. Emily snorts out a sarcastic laugh.
Thank you for your approval.
Like, bravo to me for outwitting you today. He bends down and grabs the guide, Lifting him over his shoulder, Bimeli is careful to not bump the guide's legs. He still winces in pain, clenching his staff tightly as he jostles back and forth. However, the arrangement is quickly settled and Bimeli is ready to begin walking with the guide in tow. Honestly, I'm gonna put that on another save just to see if that really affects us or not. So, we'll be good on that fact. But that does seem like a good place to Did I really not change the scene after doing intermission? Oh my god, I'm dumb. Did I really not change the scene? I never switched the scene back. You could hear the dialogue, but you couldn't see them. Oh my god. Well, previously, before me deciding to change up the scene, when did I switch the scene? Well, we can just scream into the void of my mistakes, but oh well. Things are happening. We got back on the bridge. Obviously, Bimeli was being trickery and he took a medicine from the guide. Just to switch it up on you. Just to switch it up on you. But again, I did this during the quarry as well. I forgot to switch the scenes. But pretty much the big part was trying to be pragmatism, or if we were going to let the guy just take a drug that could impair his ability to think and react. I mean, we got on the bridge. Well, this was a scuffed screen. This was scuffed. But oh well. You were able to see Briley. That's something, fluffy baby. Oh well. Oh well. Mistakes were made. We got to chat. Oh well, we will proceed on from there. I'm believing after this, the rest of the chapter will continue into either the end or another night, give or take. But now we will leave because it is dinner time. I would like to create my delicious meal. And obviously, Briley would like to do activities because I know she's been patiently waiting. But thank you for dealing with technical issues. Oh, the embarrassment. But oh well. Not everything will turn out successful. Things are going to be goofy. But yes, say hi to the baby, which can reach for her baby paw. Hi. Thank you. Oh, the belly, for the baby. Oh, the little tummy. You've been so patiently waiting, I understand. The fluffiest of fluffs. The goober of the kingdom. I know, you're just like, please, I just want to play, I understand. The fluffy baby. Baby. Fluffy. I should give you your toy back. Okay. I'm just talking, you get to see me up close and personal, not see the game. But thank you. Riley, we'll see you next time, and we'll have a pleasant time seeing if my decisions lead to a good ending. I really hope the guide's not gonna screw us over in the end, so maybe there's a chance that my character carrying the medicine, I will make a choice of giving that medicine to him later on. it might help me, it might unsuccessfully get us all killed. I was really scared back there on the island. So, meh. Oh, goofiness, but have a good night, everyone. We will. What is it? Today is Thursday? Oh, right, I don't have to go in Friday morning. Ka-ching! I get to have an easier time in the morning. And I don't have to go in Saturday morning. Yes! My weekend is easier already. Such a nice way to enter into the weekend. And I get to drink another beverage. Yay! Because I remembered to drink all of my water. I have one more bottle of water I need to finish. And some clothes to put away. But hey, now I get to cook my food. I do need to figure out if I'm going to have cauliflower or broccoli. Haven't decided yet. But now we shall depart. I don't think there was anyone else that was live currently I could raid into. No, like for some reason I have a weird schedule where everyone's gone either right at the time I'm ending or they pop in like 2 minutes later. Oh well. Oh yeah, I could show you this right before we exit. Just for one last thing. We figured out how to put the little trippiness. Just a fun way to say goodbye for the weekend. Fluffy baby! Where is my ending screens? There it is. Goodbye and have a good night. Hopefully it will be a successful new stream whenever I post it.